Hi there, Miranda Alt here with Keller Williams Success Real Estate and the Miranda Alt team with your Monday market update for Monday, November 20th, 2023. Thanks for watching. A quick look at our McHenry County numbers for the last 7 days. We had 131 new listings. We have 115 under contract, 98 closed sales, 50 price changes, 21 on the private network, and 2 expireds. So looking at that, again, we have a second week in a row where we have less homes going under contract than we have new listings. That would indicate, that'd be a leading indicator that we are getting a little bit of new inventory and a little bit of headway in the month's supply department. But it's not enough to really make a huge difference. I think that we are going to start seeing our month's supply improve over the next few weeks through the end of the year. But part of that is just seasonal activity as well. If you look at last week, we had 108 new listings. We had 94 go under contract. So again, we had that more new listings than we had go under contract. We had 88 closed sales. Now, looking at the closed sales is more indicative of what was happening 30, 60, 90 days ago, 30 or 60 days ago. It's really not a good indicator of what's happening right now. But we still look at that data because it gives us an overall picture of what are our numbers in McHenry County. So again, we had more new listings this week than we had last week. Actually, we had more new listings this week than we've had, in the last 5 weeks. That might be partly because we do see some signs that the interest rates are coming down. So 2 weeks ago, we had the peak. We think it's the peak. We hope it's the peak. It was a 22-year high when the interest rates were hitting 8%. Most people I heard, all my buyers were getting locked in about 8%, 7.9. I mean, it was high. We are seeing those numbers coming down. If you Google what is the current 30-year mortgage rate, you're going to see that it says 7.44. But that's not what you're actually going to get. When somebody actually goes to a broker or goes to a bank and tries to get their rate, it's going to be higher than that because at 7.44, that's what the feds are, or that's what money is being loaned at. Well, nobody's making any money. So everybody has to make some money on that. And so that's where you're going to get your actual rate is about 7.75. That's kind of what we're seeing right about now, which is better than it was 2 weeks ago. So potentially we're seeing more homes hitting the market because people are realizing that there is some hope with buyers. Buyers are returning to the market. We saw 115 homes go under contract this past 7 days. We had only 94 the week before that. The week before that, we had 114, 102 the week before that. So it's still pretty much on trend. And if we look at this week last year, it's very similar. This week last year, now remember, in October and November of last year, we saw interest rates go over 7% for the first time in over 2 decades. So that's why we saw a real pullback. So we're actually seeing more activity this week, this year, than we did this week last year. Because this week last year, those higher interest rates were brand new and people were like, what the heck is going on? And people were freaking out. Whereas now we're kind of like, okay, most buyers in the market have come to grips with the fact that they're never going to see 4% interest rates again. It's never going to happen. Not in this lifetime. They might not ever see 5%. I mean, 5%, that's pretty far away. But we might see 6%, and 6% is reasonable. We are seeing indications that the interest rates are coming down. We're having some poor economic numbers, which of course, poor economic numbers mean lower interest rates. The reason we had lower interest rates for so long was because we were in the middle of the Great Recession, followed by a worldwide pandemic. So that's why we had low interest rates. So when the economy does poorly, that's when we have low interest rates. When our economy is doing well, we have higher interest rates. So we have had some poor economic reports coming out, which is leading people to believe that maybe the feds will stop raising the funds rate. And there's actually even been some small murmurs of when the cuts might start. Now, that's not going to happen anytime soon. We're hoping maybe in 2024 we'll see that. But there's not even any guarantees that we'll see cuts in 2024. A lot of people are hoping that we'll see those in second quarter, but I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of different opinions about why those may or may not come. I do believe we are seeing some normal seasonal decline. Like I said, this week last year, we saw only 110 new listings. This year, we have got 131. So that's, it's only 20 more homes, but it's still 20 more homes to choose from. Under contract this week last year, we only had 98. This year, we had 115. So that's indicating that maybe some buyer sentiment is a little bit better than it was this time last year. Price changes last year, we had 53. This year, we had 50. It's about the same. And this week last year, we had only 24 on the private network. So that's pretty similar, as opposed to 2021, where we had 143 new listings, 170 going under contract. That was craziness. The fact that we still had so many people buying homes in the week of Thanksgiving in 2021 was crazy. But that was a totally different year. We can't even compare that. Now, what are prices doing? Because that's the next big question. Everybody thinks, oh, okay, well, maybe prices are going to come down. We're seeing them pretty flat. So prices are still staying pretty strong because demand is still high. A lot of these numbers that we're seeing are leading indicators. So we're not going to see these numbers translate. So if I look at the MLS and look at InfoSparks, which is my access to data, I'm looking at October numbers. Well, any average sales price that's in the MLS from October is actually more indicative of what was happening like 30 days ago, because those are closed sales. So October numbers are more indicative of what was happening in September. So it's a little bit of lagging data. This data that I'm looking at today, these are real numbers. This is as close as we can get to the leading data, which is showing that we're getting a few more homes. We're having less homes go under contract. So maybe we'll end up with a little bit more inventory. When I look at the InfoSparks numbers, we've still only got about 1.5 months inventory. That's been pretty consistent for the whole year in the McHenry County area. So again, we measure inventory in how many months it takes to sell out of whatever is currently listed. So 4 to 6 months inventory is a fair and balanced market. We haven't had that in many, many years. So if we have under 4 months inventory, that's a seller's market. Over 6 months inventory is a buyer's market. We haven't had a buyer's market since 2006. So what we're seeing is, and actually that's probably not true. There was actually more inventory. There was just a lot more inventory in 2006 and 2008. And there was a lot of inventory in 2012. So we haven't had a buyer's market in probably at least 10 years, safe to say. So we're finally, coming out of this super, super low inventory. We had some builder sentiment numbers that came out last week. We had the National Association of Home Builders sentiment it seems to be turning where it's a little bit more positive. We had housing starts and completions reports come out. The completions were down month over month, but that's a result of how the builders were feeling. We're seeing permits and housing starts slightly up, which shows how builders are feeling. So hopefully we will see some more inventory come to the market in 2024. That's what we're thinking. If interest rates come down, we could be in a great situation for a really, really prosperous 2024 in the housing market. So if you are a buyer, it's still, here's what's happening in the buyer's market is that you might have a little bit more negotiation room. Towards the end of the year, you might actually get a home at list price or a little bit below. You might not be participating in those multiple offer situations. It might be a situation where you might be able to actually get the seller to do some things for you. You might not have to purchase the home as is. You might be able to ask for some repairs. Whereas in the spring market, we anticipate it will be very, very competitive again. So if you're a buyer, my recommendation would be get a home under contract before the end of the year, or certainly in the first part of 2024 before it gets super, super competitive. If you are a seller, now is a good time to sell if you are also going to be a buyer. I would say that right now, we do have very serious buyers in the market. The buyers that are out looking right now are serious. They are not messing around. They're not, they are buyers that have to buy now, or they're buyers that are listening to my advice that are saying now is a good time to get a home under contract. So I would say if you're a seller and you're also a buyer in another market, keep in mind that if you're a seller and you're a buyer, keep in mind what I just said about being a buyer right now. It's a better market to be a buyer, and it's still a very strong market to be a seller. We are still seeing homes sell very quickly. There's not a lot of competition. There's not enough on the market to meet demand still. So it's still a great time to get a good price on your home. So we are still seeing the market moving. We're certainly selling way less homes than we did last year, way less than the year before, but there are also less buyers in the market, less sellers in the market. So that leads to still very low inventory. So if you have any questions about this, or if any of this was confusing, I know it's kind of hard to digest. I'm Miranda Alt with Keller Williams Success Real Estate and the Miranda Alt team. Please feel free to call me or text me or email me. I'm at mirandaaltteam@gmail.com. or 815-529-0777. You can always call me, text me. Please reach out at any time. I'm here to be your real estate guru. So hope you have a great Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving. No work on Thursday or Friday for us on the Miranda Alt team. We might even take a half day on Wednesday. Probably not going to be working as much this week. So enjoy your family time. Enjoy that turkey, and we'll see you next week. Bye.